Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It is afternoon, and so here we start a new week. I have just wanted to share some thoughts on gossip. Seems like, all of us have either been a victim of gossip or we have been the victimizer with gossip, sometimes intentionally and sometimes unintentionally. And so I had read some papers on these studies, and you have people who approach it in different ways, but just some of the things that I had read were gossip is unconstrained conversation, most often caused by jealousy, specifically designed for the demise of others, usually from the one who has the largest yet most fragile ego, feels threatened. It says that gossips are usually immature, they have poor mental health, they embellish stories, they can be emotionally violent because they don't have loyalty to anyone, and they will use information to abuse others. They can be seductive, smiling, friendly, gathering information, insecure. Everyone is a threat to their senses of self-worth, quick to blame, slow to take responsibility. They'll do minimal work, and they see added duties as unfair, and they are defensive. And this is obviously in the workplace. Says that they can be parasitic, energy suckers, building off others' efforts with little of their own effort. They use others as scapegoats, and they need others so that they continue to have someone to feed and feed off of. So they recruit others. They can create drama, discord, need others drawn in to keep the storm going. They complain often, and basically the advice is to ignore them because it deprives them of fuel. And so sometimes it's like lighting a match and throwing it in the fire. And so if we don't do that, which is nice because there's a proverb that says, where there is no wood, the fire goes out. So it says, why do people gossip? And the goal framing theory tells us they gossip to feel better right now. They gossip to guard and improve resources, and they gossip to act appropriately. It reveals motivation, a conscious and purposeful decision, gratifying, stimulating, bonding, a boost of self-confidence. And sometimes when you are with a group of people and they're gossiping about someone, it can bring a fun, warm glow and be very pleasurable. The larger the personal price to pay, it overrides gossiping against one another. And so I am saying they, but it's really funny because I could describe me at different times in my life, and it's a hard thing to look at. When I look at the Word of God about gossip, these are some of the scriptures. Proverbs 11:13 says, "One who brings gossip betrays a confidant, but one who is of a trustworthy spirit is one who keeps a secret." Proverbs 18:8, "The words of a gossip are like dainty morsels. They go down into a person's innermost parts." Proverbs 26:20, "For lack of wood, a fire goes out. Without gossip, a quarrel dies down." What is gossip? It can be slander, and in the Mosaic Law, interestingly enough, it was forbidden. Leviticus 19:16, "You shall not go up and down as a slanderer among your people, neither shall you stand against the life of your neighbor." The words behind that are literally to walk and spread or carry. That's why it's called a talebearer, to be weak, continual. There's another word that says it's like uncovering or removing, to be uncovered in a scandalous sense, to reveal oneself. Proverbs 20:19, "He who goes about as a talebearer reveals secrets. Therefore don't keep company with him. He who opens wide his lips." Proverbs 10:18 says, "He who utters slander is a fool." And so this slander is defamation and evil speaking. goes with backbiting, which is tattling, secret, tale-bearing, evil speaking. And Psalms 15, 1 through 3 reminds us, who can live in the Lord's sanctuary? He who doesn't slander with his tongue, nor does evil to his friend, nor casts slurs. And so it seems like if we are a victim of gossip, we can be so angry at these people who are talking about us, and why are they doing this? And we just talked about that. The motivation behind it is to feel better right now. By putting you down, I feel better. It makes me feel better about myself. Or let's see, just looking at ourselves inwardly and our own insecurities. So to make ourselves feel better, it's at the expense of another person. And then I have actually, shared something in confidence with a friend, and of course they have to share with their husband, and then it comes full circle and it slaps us in the face. And in hindsight, it's kind of humorous, but at the time, it's not humorous at all. And it goes contrary to what Jesus said, that love covers over a multitude of sins. And so many times Christians get together and they say, we really need to pray for someone, or you can even ask for prayer. And so my advice is to be careful who you go to in prayer. There are some people that we just know are gossips, and they're great if you're trying to gather your own information. But in other times, you just avoid them. Not to tell them something, because if you tell them, then most of San Juan County will know what's going on. And then there's other people that that if you talk to them about things, it stays right there, and they are truly going to go before the Lord to pray and contend for these things. And also, if anything is said, it's an encouragement and it's to help. So this new commandment that Jesus says, he says, love one another just as I have loved you. Do you think Jesus was a gossip? If he had something to say, he confronted that person directly. He did not talk behind their back. And then he repeats it again. You also are to love one another. And he says, by this, all people will know you are my disciples if you love one another. And I read this anonymous poem, and I thought it was so good. Save us from the evil tongue, from the heart that thinketh wrong, from the sins, whatever they be, that divide the soul from thee. And so when we engage in gossip, we are separating ourselves. This beautiful Psalm 139, search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me. Lead me in the way everlasting. So just sharing some of the things that I had thought about, looked at when dealing with gossip. And like I said, I'm guilty. I have shared information. I have done that, but I've also been a victim of it, and it's no fun. And so as I draw closer to God, the more I begin to see, I want to know what I need to do to dwell on his holy mountain and in his sanctuary, according to Psalms 15. I hope, gives you some food for thought, looking at things, looking at yourself. All of this is to be introspective. And I love you guys. I hope you guys have a good day. We'll talk soon.